When I moved to Andover, Massachusetts, I thought I had stepped into a picture-perfect dream, a wealthy neighborhood with sprawling estates and manicured lawns. But there was a curious thing about this place. Neighbors rarely spoke to each other, each household living in its own little bubble. It wasn't until tragedy struck that I witnessed just how easily assumptions could shatter our perceptions, and how much we have to learn from one another. My closest neighbor was a 75-year-old man who had recently returned from overseas with a much younger wife. Together, they seemed to live a fairy tale life. They traveled often, always hand in hand, radiating joy. To those who noticed them, they were lovebirds, the kind of couple that turned heads with their apparent happiness. But then, 6 months into their marriage, the man passed away unexpectedly. Despite the neighborhood's usual aloofness, we gathered at their home to offer condolences. The young widow was inconsolable, her cries echoing through the house. As she wept, she began shouting words that made us stop in our tracks. "I'm free! I'm free! I'm free!" Her words sent waves of shock and judgment through the room. How could she celebrate freedom at such a moment? Whispers spread like wildfire, and silently, many of us began to think the worst of her. Just as the tension in the room was thickest, the man's younger brother entered. Calmly, he introduced himself and explained the truth behind the widow's cries. She wasn't declaring her freedom. Through her sobs, she had been calling out her husband's name, Humphrey. Humphrey, Humphrey, Humphrey. Shame washed over us. We had been so quick to judge her grief, so ready to misunderstand her pain. This experience taught me an unforgettable lesson. Assumptions can be dangerous, and sometimes the truth lies far beyond what we first perceive. What about you? Have you ever been in a situation where you misunderstood someone's actions or words? How did it change your perspective? Let this story serve as a reminder to approach others with empathy and understanding, because sometimes what we hear isn't always what's being said.